What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Beyond the Deals podcast. I'm Jordan Corey, your new host. Not your new host. This is actually my first time hosting the podcast. However, we have a special guest today, Daniel Bernabe. And we're just going to kind of discuss a little bit more about his media and just his journey in general. He has a lot of cool things that he's been doing behind the scenes and love to get to know exactly what he's been doing. So let's jump into it. Welcome, Daniel.
Thanks for having me, Jordan.
Yeah, thanks for coming on, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, mainly just really want to kind of get to know you a little bit more, exactly what you do now, and then kind of go back to the backstory.
Okay. Yeah, so what I do right now is real estate photography and videography, mainly focused here in the Denver metropolitan area. And yeah, I've just started working on the video portion of my business. I've been doing a lot of photography for a really long time. Kind of winding it back, I have been traveling across the world. Prior, I was in the military for 13 years, and I spent a lot of my time overseas. And so it's a perfect opportunity to take photos, especially in Europe. And so I've been doing photography for about 13 years.
So is that kind of when your journey started, was when you're in the military, kind of taking the photography from there?
Yeah, absolutely. It kind of initially started in high school when my parents gifted me a camera. And they were just like, go ahead. And I just started taking photos. But as I started to travel more in different countries and started to just really want to build memories for myself, that's when I just took that time to actually go a little more professional, started doing more headshots, started working with just building a portfolio and travel. And that's where I ended up going.
Nice. I love that. So you originally started with the photography, just taking photos of things. When did you kind of transition more to the videography of, I guess, capturing the real estate side of things, but also just, I guess, videography in general?
Well, so I ended up just doing videography because I just thought, like, I've always watched my, the people that I've really loved, like Peter McKinnon or Chris Howe, and these people who did travel videography. And I always just wanted to have myself explore those kind of options. Just, I loved how they showed a place, they made it feel exciting and it's a place to be. And then, translating that into more of a business perspective, I just wanted to create that same dynamic with homes. I think it's really important that real estate agents also have an opportunity to brand themselves. I agree. We're in a world now where personal brand is key to creating a business and just also letting the world know who you are. So I think that getting into that video and having that travel perspective allowed me to just kind of just let people know, like, hey, you're here, and I think no matter what, even if it's real estate or travel or anything, it's just people don't know who you are until you let people know who you are.
Yeah. At the end of the day, I mean, I think people want to see what you're doing and be able to feel that through you, especially with the travel vlogs. Like, whenever you watch that, you kind of feel like, oh, I'm there. I feel like I'm actually in that place that the person that I'm watching is recording. So
Absolutely.
And so I kind of want to go way back to where kind of your childhood. Are you from Colorado, like born and raised? Where are you from?
Yeah, so it's ironic, is I was born and raised in Colorado Springs, Colorado. Lived there for 18 years. And before that's when I finally decided to join the military at 18.
Okay. And so we're in the military for 12 years, you said?
13.
Oh, 13 years. Picked up a camera. Parents gifted you a camera in high school. Started traveling, documenting a little bit of that. Got into the videography. And now we're here.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love it. What is one thing that you learned, like, throughout the journey, just kind of being able to develop your skill set and, I guess, overcoming any challenges?
I think one of the biggest parts is just letting yourself be willing to fall and fail. There have been times where I went on a trip and I didn't bring any batteries, or I didn't charge my gear, or I would not bring the right lens. But, having that adaptability and being like, okay, well, what do I do in this situation? Maybe I just use my phone this time. It's a big skill set when it comes to learning how to do run and gun kind of work.
Yeah.
And, when you're translating that into a business, there's always something that's going to pop up. It's always in a business, you're never, especially as a solopreneur, you're just constantly putting fires out essentially, you know? So it's just a role and just learning how to deal with that.
Nice. And I know we've mentioned beforehand that this is like your day-to-day thing, is your full-time gig. Did you have a job beforehand getting out of the military, or was it straight from military straight to this?
Yeah, so I actually previously was an IT project manager for XT Innovation.
Okay.
And so I took on that career path just so I could also learn about how to be a project manager and dealing with projects that are beyond the scale of, a couple $1,000s. These were, $100,000 to multi-million-dollar projects.
Yeah.
Just learning to know how to navigate that space. And then being a project manager, you spend a lot of time in front of people that you never know or you've never met. So it was good to understand what it was like to navigate problem resolution with people you've never met before.
Yeah. And I'm assuming during that time working with the company, you were still doing the videography and photography.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Was that more like a side gig where you kind of like bringing on clients, or was it more just like for fun?
I would bring in clients whenever I could.
Okay.
But it was definitely a lot more for myself, building a portfolio. It's different. It's a different space to navigate when you're not, I guess in my view, living here in the States. I think the dynamic in Europe was more of showcasing these older cities and that kind of space, and then making a transition here to more Colorado, where it's more highlighting the outdoors, the activities. So
exactly,
it was a different shift in mentality being here.
Nice. Okay, so just kind of finding the best way to pivot.
Right.
Nice. How do you think you overcome that? Like, I guess, are you now capturing nature and hiking and things along that nature from all the old architecture back in Europe?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I spend a lot of my free time just exploring the outdoors. We just went to Telluride this 4th of July, and oh my gosh, you got to go. If you haven't been, it's amazing. It's a beautiful place to go.
That's where they have all the hot air balloons and stuff, no?
Yeah.
Telluride. Did you see that?
No, we didn't get to see any of that, but we did see some fireworks. So
it was a good time.
Yeah, it was definitely worth it.
Okay. And so once you got at XD Innovations, how long have you been working on your own business?
So this company I just started in May of this year.
Okay.
I already had a real estate photography and videography business in North Carolina.
Okay.
And that's kind of where I initially got my feet wet, starting to bring in clients, working with military members who were also trying to sell their homes because the PCS moves. And, I felt a need to give back to that community as well, because it was, I think it's hard to move by yourself.
I agree.
Especially when you buy a home and then you have last second orders, it's hard to sell a home, and photos sell a home.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, definitely good photos, good videos is always something I highly recommend. I'm in the real estate space as well. So like I've dealt with a lot of veterans that buy a home, get restationed somewhere else, and they're like, well, I have no equity. Now what? And so trying to sell those properties are oftentimes a little bit hard. That's when we get a little bit creative, think outside the box, utilize some creative financing. But one thing that I've learned with doing deals virtually is getting good photos and videos. So it's always needed for any real estate professional, in my personal opinion.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I mean, it can make or break a sale. Homes could stay on market for months. And then you put a really good video, you put really good photos of that house, and it could sell within the day.
Yeah.
So
nice. Okay. And so now that you're in the Colorado market, working with a few clients, is your main target audience like the agents, or are you also working with real estate investors too?
So I do work with real estate agents, but I'd also like to work with real estate investors as well. I think that when it comes to being photos and videos, it's really open to all of those spaces. I think that, personal branding doesn't just come from just real estate agents. I know that they are a very big part of it, because every agent is trying to stand out from the rest.
Yeah.
It's a competitive landscape too, because what makes you different from somebody else? But as an investor too, you also want to be able to highlight a property, you want to showcase this area that you've been working on, or, you know, if you do flips too, you know, that's something that you want to showcase to yourself, that like, hey, I know how to do house flipping, and I know how to do it right, and I know how to make it look good.
Yeah.
So,
And like you said earlier, like people don't know who you are until you present it. You show people what you're doing. And yeah, videography is obviously the key thing to get you that more of exposure. But I'm a huge component in content. Like content is definitely somewhere that everybody should be in. And hiring someone like yourself is definitely going to help them showcase their talents, their skills. But the cool thing about you too is that I've learned is that you're so open-minded. You're open to doing a little bit of everything and just seeing what's working. So I guess tell me, well, one thing I do want to know, because every time I watch a podcast, I'm always like, how old is that person? When did they get their success? When did they start doing their business? So out of curiosity, how old are you?
I'm 32 years old.
32. Okay. And so when would you say that you took that entrepreneurial leap to start your own business? Just be like, hey, I'm gonna go all in on this.
I think honestly, I have been with an entrepreneurial mindset probably since I was 18.
Okay.
I've always wanted to pursue this type of work for yourself. I think that when I finally wanted to take that leap, it was near the end of my career. So about 2022 is when I was like, okay, I think I have enough of a skill set. I think I communicate very well, and I think I'm ready to take that leap.
Yeah.
You know, it's never going to get any better or any easier. So if you don't choose to take that leap now, you're just going to regret it for a while, and maybe for the rest of your life.
Yeah,
So,
I agree. And we're still young. I mean, at the end of the day, it's better to take that risk now than when you're 50 years old.
absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay. And so when you took that leap, working on your own, what helps you stay disciplined? What gives you that motivation every morning? Like, hey, I don't have to go clock into a 9 to 5. Like, I actually have to wake up, go get clients, take some videos. Like, what's holding you accountable every single day?
I think it's being passionate about the career that you're choosing. You know, for me, photography and videography have been something I've always been very passionate about.
Yeah.
I love being able to connect with clients. I love being able to showcase what they do. And so I'm merging those, my entrepreneurial side with my passion for photography and videography, and kind of combining that every day. So it always doesn't, you know, they always say like when you do something that you love, you'll never work a day in your life.
Yeah.
And I think that once I made that this move, it feels right. So I wake up every day and it's like, okay, let's make a difference in some person's life, a brand, or let's do something that changes how we view that customer. So
Yeah, no, it's always good that you can do something that you actually enjoy doing. I mean, my biggest thing is like becoming obsessed with something. Once you're obsessed with it, like how can I continue to improve in this area? That's when it just becomes fun. It's just natural.
absolutely. Yeah. And that's why it's, you know, I think that if you're not passionate about it, then it's hard to be an entrepreneur in a space that you're not really, you just don't love.
Yeah.
Loving the journey is definitely better than the destination. I think a lot of people who first start as an entrepreneur, they're more focused on making, you know, 100,000, you know, 200,000, and that's their goal. But if they don't want to learn how to, you know, do the other steps between your goals, and they're not happy to do that,
Yep.
then it makes it really difficult to get to that point. The money will come. You just got to learn it. I mean, entrepreneurship is so big. You have to learn marketing. You have to learn how to talk to clients. You have to be able to sell your skill set.
Yeah.
You know, you actually have to be able to do your skill set. You have to do delivery. It's a lot to take in one bite.
Yeah.
But you're never going to take that step to learn it unless you get put in that position.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, I feel like any business, whether it's photography, real estate, selling shoes on the side, like it comes down to sales and marketing. Like if you can market yourself appropriately and be able to sell your vision or sell the product that you're utilizing, I mean, that's when success does come.
Absolutely.
Did you ever get stuck in like analysis paralysis state?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. Okay.
It's I think that there's a problem with being a creative person, is that you almost always feel that your product or what you're doing is never good enough. I think as a person who took photos for travel, I'm always like, they're not as good as X. They're not as good as this person. Oh man, I wish I could be better and I wish I had this. So, I'd always think, oh man, I don't have the gear, I don't have the skill set. And that, I mean, I still feel that today too. It's not a you quickly, you turn it off and you feel confident.
Yeah.
Um, one of those things that I've heard is that, you have to outbeat your self-doubt by just constantly repeating and doing the work. So I have to constantly just put myself in these situations where I feel unsure or I feel like maybe I'm not doing enough because I want to be able to grow in that space.
Yeah.
And that's how people become successful. I mean, no one ever just wakes up and they're successful in a day. And those people that you see who are successful, you don't see the thousands of hours that they've put into failing and trying to do things. So, analysis by paralysis, difficult to always overcome.
Yeah,
It
100%.
really is. And
Well, also the big thing too is the kind of that imposter syndrome, like you mentioned. Like I
Right.
feel like maybe I'm not putting out the best content I can. And I think the biggest thing I've learned that I'm still trying to overcome is it's me versus me. Like at the end of the day, I'm not competing with anybody else. If I just take the action steps every single day, then things are going to start to compound, and now you're going to be able to start to see the results that you're actually looking for.
Right. And I think that's also hard too. I think a lot of people, especially I think any industry and any space, you always feel this scarcity mindset when you're first learning how to be an entrepreneur because you're like, oh, somebody's already a really good videographer. Someone's already a good photographer.
Exactly.
And what is going to make me better? And why should I even try when this space is already so busy and so saturated? And when you can remove yourself from that mindset and be like, I have a unique mindset and a way to contribute to whatever my profession is, then I think that allows you to be more mindful and allow you to grow because clients are going to see that too.
Yeah.
I think it's a very cutthroat business when people are like, they don't want to show their secrets. But I could tell you how I do all of my job and still it'll be different the way that you execute it than me. And that's what makes me unique.
I agree. Yeah, just setting yourself apart from competition. But at the end of the day too, I think a lot of people always don't want to sell their secrets or doesn't want to share kind of what they're doing to become successful. And I truly am a believer in collaboration over competition. Like if we can come together and mastermind, how can we become better together? That's when things start to flow in. But there's an abundance amount of opportunities out there.
Absolutely. And I think you have to stick with something for a really long time before you see the growth.
Yeah.
And that's okay. I think you have to reset your mindset to being like, okay, sometimes it's going to just be a long time you just putting in the work before you start to see cash flow or see success. I mean, I'm not telling you to quit your job now or be an entrepreneur, but take those small steps while you're still working and you're still have a 9-to-5 job to get you to that point where you're willing to take that leap and see where it goes.
Yeah. So it sounds like you've been pretty focused on photography and videography. Have you ever had a stage in your entrepreneurial journey to where you kind of had the shiny object syndrome? You wanted to try a little bit of everything, or have you mainly been kind of laser focused on, let me perfect my craft and keep pushing down this path?
No, I mean, I've kind of gone a lot of different directions too. I mean, I've made a huge pivot in my career, just, in general. In the military, I was an aircraft armament technician, which in plain terms is I loaded and maintained the weapon systems on the Air Force.
Really cool.
So being a weapons loader, I loaded bombs for a living, and then kind of transitioning out of the military, that was a huge kind of thing. So, initially, photography and videography was like the shiny object that I wanted to follow. And I was like, oh man, let's just kind of see where that goes. But then, I got out, and being in, getting out of the military, you're kind of stuck in a financial bind too. You're kind of like, well, I just need to put money on the table. I just need to to keep the lights on,
Yeah.
and so having that, you kind of pivot into something that at least will sustain you. And luckily for me, being part of XD Innovations, I was able to kind of grow more into an entrepreneurial mindset because also, with them as a small business, you kind of see how a small business operates.
Yeah.
Everyone is wearing a lot of different hats. And so I got that experience. And I think that every time I've always shifted in those kind of thoughts. I'm like, oh man, let me try to be a real estate agent. Let me try to do this. It's a lot.
And I think the cool thing too with working with such a, not necessarily a large company, like you said, they were a small company at the time, but just seeing the figures that they're doing, like you see these $100 million projects or hundreds of thousands projects, and you're like, wow, that's possible, right? And it's very eye opening. Like that kind of makes you realize, hey, I could do bigger and better things. I can do these numbers. So when you hear people saying, oh, I'm making 100K a month, a lot of people are like, what? That's a lie. There's no way. But then you see people actually doing that. Some people making $1 million a month, and it's something that switches in your head.
Right. No, absolutely. And and I've always heard this from like Alex Hermosi, right? He's like, how much does it cost you to make $1 million a year? You should take what you make right now and subtract that from $1 million. And that's how much it's costing you to make that.
Yeah.
And like, I think the big thing about that is just kind of resetting your mind to think that like, look, there are people my age who are making millions of dollars, but you also have to understand that there's a mindset and there's a level of work that has to go into getting that. And if you're not willing to do it, then that's not the lifestyle that you really want to live.
Yeah.
There's a price to pay for everything.
I agree. Yeah, it comes down to mindset for sure. Mindset's the biggest thing for me. Like when I first started my journey, I didn't have the best mindset. I was kind of have that scarcity mindset. Then you start to learn, okay, there's an abundant amount of opportunities. But skill set is definitely something that plays a key role. Cause I mean, you can be the most optimistic and just super passionate about something, but if you're terrible at it, nobody's going to pay for it.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And I think that honing a skill, it's, I don't necessarily think that you have to be extremely, extremely good at it.
Yeah.
To start. You have to start building yourself up and allowing yourself to hone your skills as you go. It's not I have to just, that analysis paralysis by paralysis. You don't have to wait like for 5 years before you're like, man, I think I'm ready to go. You got to just take that leap, learn along the way, because a lot of experience is the best teacher.
100%.
100%. And that's where you have to take those journeys. That's what I've been doing for my business as well.
Nice. I love that. Yeah, it definitely takes time. That's the biggest thing. Like with me, I'm super impatient sometimes. So like I'll start something, get super obsessed with it, learn a lot, take some action. I'm like, okay, well, let me try something new. This isn't taking, giving me the results that I want. But once you stay focused and just kind of consistently knowing that, hey, it's going to be a grind for the next 10 years and I may not even make money from it. But if you're consistently showing up every single day for yourself and also for your clients, that's when the results start to come.
Right. Absolutely.
I love that.
Yeah. And I think that you should also try to focus on kind of building goodwill.
Yeah.
I think if you're constantly working on having loyal customers and you're working on building a client base that they know that you are there for them and it's not just transactional, then I think that that's way more important than making an income. I mean, I know that like at the end of the day too, everyone's trying to make at least enough to survive.
Yeah.
And as a business, it's really important to not sell yourself short of your value and what you're doing for clients. And my other counter to that too is that you just also still need to continue to treat your clients like humans. Because that's who they are, especially as a real estate photography and videography. I mean, they're real estate agents. They're also trying to make a living. And for them, being able to build a personal brand is going to lead to eventual income because more people get to know them. They get to know who their personality is and then finally be like, okay, I trust this person because they're aligned with my hobbies. They love, they're playful. Maybe they're funny. Maybe they're more serious.
Yeah.
But that's how you build those successful businesses, is by creating a group, and even just clients that love who you are as a person.
100%. I mean, you really don't even need a lot of clients too. If you're doing recurring revenue or just recurring transactions with one person, or a few people, then like that gives you the opportunity to continue to build too. But I'm a huge component in be yourself. Like
Right.
treat others how you want to be treated. But there's like, do you see salesmen all the time going out and trying to oversell themselves, oversell the product, and it mainly just like trying to connect with the other person. That's one thing I've learned as well through my real estate journey is like when I'm speaking with sellers, I understand you're trying to sell your house. Why? How can we figure out what you're going through in order to kind of really solve the problem that you're trying to solve?
Right. And I think it's finding the motivation behind what they're trying to do.
Exactly.
It's what helps bring people out, like no one, the question now is, what makes you different from other people? And the next question, or that you should be asking yourself, is, who am I as a person, and how can I make that shine? Because there's an audience for everybody.
Yeah.
Again, like that scarcity mindset. There's someone who wants to work specifically for you because they like who you are. And if you choose to not share that and be vulnerable, then you're leaving money on the table, because no one's going to get to know that, to the real you.
Yeah. No, I think the biggest thing too that I've learned through my journey is that like you can't please everybody. There's going to be people that dislike you. Some people don't like the way your hair sits in the morning. Like there's always going to be people that are going to be against you. But the more that you just be yourself, you're going to attract the people that actually align with your energy, the people that you actually want to be around.
Right. And I think that you have to be willing to say no sometimes too.
Yeah. That's the hardest thing.
Yeah. And I think as an entrepreneur, when you're first starting, you say yes to a lot of work because you're first just trying to get yourself in there. I think once you start to build a skill and you start to build a client base, then you have to make another transition again to start saying no to opportunities, because there's more money on the table somewhere else, but you're taking in too much that you're not allowing yourself to grow.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and also not all business is good business. Like someone could offer you $100 million to do a project, but if they don't align with kind of what your goals are and your opportunities, and just like if you're being treated badly, oftentimes saying no to things like that too is huge.
Oh, 100%.
So nice. So you've just started the business. How has the process been so far?
It's been good. I got here with the real estate deal makers, and I mean, I loved we had a quarterly social, 2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
And it was really awesome to connect with everybody there. It's nice to meet people in a space that allows us to feel really comfortable and just kind of be humans. It doesn't feel so, static or cold. You walked in there and everyone's having a conversation. We were there with the contractors of Colorado, our sister group, and they've been amazing. So I think having this base is a good place to start, especially because I think referrals is huge. Word of mouth carries a lot of weight, and then especially being an affiliate here, you become a trusted agent to these people. So they know that you belong to this, that you've been vetted, that you have earned your way to be here. And so people don't just shy away from going to you because they already know that you're trusted.
Of course. So yeah, the beautiful thing I love about the real estate deal makers community is that like you mentioned, we want to treat it more as family. Like we want to come in and just have a good time. Sometimes people just want to relax and just chat about their personal issues. But at the end of the day, like everybody's always trying to become 1% better, whether that's physically, mentally, financially, whatever that may be. We want to create a space to where people can come in, feel comfortable, but also the networking aspect. Like more people the more opportunities come, but the more people that know you, now that's when it's like, okay, this guy knows what he's doing. I know exactly who I'm gonna call when I need videography or I need a picture of a property or something.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think that that's huge, especially in that space, because with AI everything too, people are trying to find who they trust nowadays. You know, and I've been part of these, like, learning this AI culture, and it's, you know, we are now in the answer era. You know, you don't go to Google to like look through the thousands of pages to find something. You go on ChatGPT and you're like, hey, what is the best real estate photographer and videographer in Denver? And it'll bring up a list. And you don't even really spend a lot of time looking at it. You're just like, okay, cool.
Get the answer right away.
So we're in that kind of economy now. And I think that you have to learn to build trust and credibility. And that comes from being in the real estate deal makers.
Yeah.
You know, you have, now I know people that I can communicate with. Okay, hey, I got a broker. This guy, I know him, I met him in person. I trust him. He's been vetted as well. So, you know, here he is.
Yeah.
Like I can give warm handoffs, and I don't feel this need to be like, oh, he's here because I kind of got forced into, you know, trusting this person. But I never
met on the referral kind of.
Right.
Yeah. And that's one thing I really like with the verification process is like, we're actually making sure, hey, these people are doing what they say they're doing, but they're good people. Like if we refer you, maybe you might have something that they can't really solve at the moment, but they are going to find a solution or they're going to point you in the right direction. And so everybody within our community that is one of our verified affiliates goes through that whole process, and it gives us more peace of mind, like knowing when we speak with someone, hey, we got someone in our back pocket. We know exactly who to send you to with no hesitation.
Right. And that's key.
Yeah.
I definitely feel that when I walk into this community, it's a group of people who care about you genuinely, and that are there to see your success.
Yeah. And we're quickly growing. That's the cool thing. Like we're only 6 months into, as the time of this recording, is 6 months into building a community. And I mean, just the results that we've got so far, just the amazing talent, just the amazing people in general that's come into the community. It's very mind blowing and eye opening.
Yeah. So I actually filmed that quarterly social, and even doing some of those interviews, it was crazy. You know, some people who had been here from the very beginning, they're like, yeah, our first social, there was about 10 people.
Yeah.
And that day there was like easily over 100 people in that building, sharing, connecting, and networking. And, you know, it's growing very rapidly, and I feel like it's going to slowly take over Denver as an area. So, you know, definitely something to look out for.
That's the goal. Definitely being one of the biggest kind of a network that gives people the opportunities to showcase their talents, but also knowing like these people are going to be able to handle whatever you need. And that's the main thing that we take pride on, because there's a lot of sour apples in the industry, just in the real estate side in general, but like getting people that actually are good at their job or good at what they say they're doing and don't try to do 20 different things at one time. That's what kind of sets us apart from majority.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I love that.
Nice. So when you came out to the social, obviously I know you recorded the social. I'm assuming that you networked with a few people. Kind of what did you, I guess, take away from that, and how do you see yourself, I guess, benefiting from the membership and the affiliation with real estate deal makers?
Well, so I think that, you know, the biggest part is that this community is growing, and it's growing at a really rapid pace.
Yeah.
You know, it's not only just connected to the real estate deal makers too, you know, investors and real estate agents and brokers, but you're also connecting to the other side of real estate, which is the contractors of Colorado.
Yeah.
You know, being able to connect with them makes a huge difference, because they're also looking for content. You know, for me as a person who's a videographer and a photographer, it kind of can extend to all of those spaces.
Exactly.
And, you know, having their side of it, they can also be like, okay, I've got this job. Hey, and, you know, having a lot more people who know who you are, and in all of those industries, the construction is such a huge industry, especially because Denver and the whole Colorado area is just growing at such a crazy pace. You know, having them be able to like, oh yeah, I met this real estate agent and he was like, oh yeah, I just need someone to do photos for me. They can refer you. And I think that's huge. You know, being part of that, that's one aspect that I think is going to be amazing to have. You know, and you don't feel again like it's not a lonely space. they come here and it's warm. It feels like family.
Yeah.
I think that that's going to be a really big part of growing in my business here. And, it's always it's not about what you know, just what you know. It's about who you know too.
Yep. I agree. And as I mentioned, who knows you? Like, who knows that you can do these cool things? And we all understand it too. Like everybody that's within the community, we understand there's lonely times. Like being an entrepreneur, like it's hard. And oftentimes it doesn't have to be lonely. And that's why we want to create an environment to have kind of like masterminds. We can all sit down and brainstorm and like, hey, I'm thinking of doing this. Do you think this would be a smart idea? And it's business. It's more thinking like, how can we grow? And it's just a really cool space. I'm super excited. Like you said, we're growing pretty rapidly too. Yeah. So,
and I think it's having a community too. Having people who have an entrepreneurial mindset, and who aren't cutthroat, it feels like a rare unicorn kind of community, because you're like, wow, I can actually be like, hey, I'm struggling to connect with this type of space. How do I do that? Or hey, what do you like? You can ask even advice. Hey, real estate agents, real estate investors, what makes you choose a different person over this? Or this product over this? And so you can refine your business and work on your business, not just in your business here.
100%. And the cool thing too is that like you can connect with some heavy hitters, and like as I've mentioned earlier, we're all human. Like we all go through things. So once you can connect more on a personal level, that's when people get to like and trust you, and that's when business happens.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, there's so many hard hitters here. Like it is worth connecting, and I don't miss the opportunity to come to these like events. It's huge.
All right. So with you being one of our verified affiliates, like what do you offer to our community other than, I guess, the videography and photography? Like what are something that's special to our community?
Well, so I think that the big thing for me is that, one, I would like to offer any of the real estate deal makers who are in that process of ready to get photos or videos, I'd like to offer them a free photo shoot for whatever property that they'd like to go for.
I love that.
And then following that, for the entire time that they're an affiliate or part of the real estate deal makers, is that I'd like to give 20% discount off of all of my services. So,
amazing.
I think it's a really important part of being the community is that it's not just about having that network. It's also about having a good way to get your services, and it means something to be part of this community.
Yeah, no, I agree. You guys heard it. 20% off and a free photo shoot for the first time. Yeah, I mean, really, I love that you're willing to give so much. Not a lot of people are willing to give. They try to charge high prices starting out, especially when they get started in the industry. And the cool thing about you is that you're like, hey, let's grow together. Let's figure this out together. And offering free service like that or offering a discount to the community is huge.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, I just want to also give back in that kind of way, because I think having the chance to be put here and have a connection, it's that's in itself is a price that you can't count, so.
Yeah. And so some of our audience may or may not be in Colorado. Like for them to be able to, I guess, utilize these services, what would be the best way to, I guess, at least get in contact with you and then go from there?
Well, yeah. So, I mean, you guys can always check on my website. It's www.blacksheep.media. It's blksheep.media. And if you don't have or can't check the website, you can always just give me a call, 719-493-8203. Yeah, that's the best way.
Love it. Yeah, I love it. Do you have a social media, anything along that nature that they can reach out and see some of your content?
Yeah, I do. So most of my stuff that I post is on my Instagram, which is Black Sheep Photo and Video. And most of my content I do post there. I'm slowly growing that space here, specifically in Denver. I had a lot of growing in North Carolina, and I'm making that transition now. So yeah, that's where you could check it out.
I think we briefly skipped over the North Carolina. Like, how long did you live in North Carolina for?
I was there for a year and a half, so not too long.
Okay. And kind of built up a solid clientele and doing some things out there?
Yeah. So it was mainly really the military members, because I spent a lot of time just being in that community, volunteering for just building up that area, because it was not, it was like a small community, but there wasn't a lot of opportunities to do things within that town. I you know, it's, I don't know, it's some really small town. I maybe it's even smaller than like Silverton, which is like a 600 population. It was very tiny, but there was not a lot to do there. So that's kind of why I reached out, and I wanted to do a lot more of like pro bono kind of work with them.
Yeah.
It's because it's a hard space to enter. You know, people were driving an hour because they couldn't even have housing there. So, you know, they would be living in Raleigh.
Wow. Why?
And driving an hour down to Goldsboro. So it was a crazy place to be in. So
Nice.
tons to grow.
And so you came out to Colorado. I'm curious. I know you connected with Gabrielle. I know you're from the Springs. Is that how you know Gabrielle is from the Springs?
No, actually, I was actually referred by Brandon. He's part of the he's part of an affiliate of Contractors of Colorado, and he's also part of the Business Foundry as a whole.
Nice. Okay.
And so yeah, he referred me, and we connected from there. So it just happened to be, you know, as a quote unquote local. Yeah, I ended up just connecting through that. So
really cool. Yeah, because I remember Gabrielle mentioned to me, because she was out of town when we were putting together a quarterly social. She's like, yeah, look for Daniel. He'll be recording. And there was so many people, but that was my first time meeting you. I was like, hey, you good, bro? Like, you got everything?
Yeah.
This man came with his tripod. He was set up. He was legit. So I was like, oh, I love this. And after that, like, that's when I felt comfortable knowing, obviously I trust Gabrielle's judgment, but just seeing the professionalism that you came in, the communication that you were just talking with people, just having fun, and then just capturing as much content as possible to show that, like, hey, this guy really loves what he does.
Absolutely. Yeah. I'm always willing to talk. I can talk your head off, you know.
Nice.
And I love to just connect and just see where we can go and grow this community as a whole.
Love it. Well, I want to wrap it up, but I do want to kind of get some things, a piece of advice for the audience that's watching. So going through the journey, going from high school, getting your first camera, going to the military, loading bombs, going through fixing the machinery, all of that fun stuff. Now going into working with a project manager and now your own company. What is one piece of advice that you would give somebody either younger, but also maybe just even starting their journey?
Oh, so I think one piece of advice is that, you know, I think the first thing you have to do is find a skill set that you're really passionate about going into. And then the next is building up all of the soft skills that are required for it. You know, learn how to be a really good communicator, learn how to show up on time, learn how to be able to deliver, learn how to, you know, have the time to work on the business, you know, build those really, really small soft skills like intercommunication, problem solving, you know, having a MacGyver mentality, learning how to put things together. When you can build those things, then, you know, take that first step. It doesn't have to even be hard. You can start an LLC for $50 and then you can just go and just don't be afraid to fail. I think that I've tried a million different things and I do a million different things. And if you know, the first part of starting anything is you're going to be bad at it.
Yeah.
And if you reset your mentality to think that this is what it's going to be like, and that's okay, then you can grow so much further than a lot of people who just never take that first step.
When do you think it's a good time for someone to just jump off the bridge and just go all in, quit their job and just be like, hey, I'm going all in on this?
I think that to be safe, you should not ever do the full jump until you are creating enough income on that side business or that side hustle that you can then make that transition. Because I think it's a dangerous thing to just jump into it.
Yeah.
And then almost kind of have a reality check where you're like, whoa, this was not what I was expecting.
Yeah.
You know, start with the business and still work a 9 to 5. Because then learn those skills, you know, marketing, contacting clients, actually having to do the work.
Yeah.
And then once you have built enough of a community and built enough clientele that you can be like, okay, I'm ready to go. That's when you're ready to take it and become a full-time business owner.
I love it. Yeah. When you know at the end of the day, like you'll feel it in your guts, your intuitions, you're like, okay, this is the time. But also one piece of advice I always used to like tell people is like, if you're passionate about something and you want to get into it, for example, real estate wholesaling, like that's what I was trying to do. Go work for somebody and learn while you earn. Like you're making money through going through the process and learning how the steps are taken. And then now you can kind of branch off and then start your own thing. But if you're really trying to do something, go work for somebody. And that's in that industry.
100%. Yeah. Find something you're passionate about. Find somebody who's willing to take you on. Do a lot of free work. Learn how to just master that skill.
Yeah.
And then you're ready to like, okay, I can actually start earning something from this.
Yeah.
You know, it's having a learner's mentality. You have to have a season of learning before you have to have a season of earning. So
I love that. That's a great quote. It's a great quote. So the people that are going to reach out to you, I'm assuming they definitely need your services. Is there like a pre-qualification or something that you want them to do beforehand before reaching out to you? Or is it like, hey, just at least reach out and we can kind of collaborate and see what it looks like?
yeah, I mean, if it depends on really just who it is. If you're a real estate agent and you're ready to start growing your clientele and just continue to have like a consistent brand for yourself,
Yeah.
then feel free to reach out for me for that. I mean, and if you're also in need of a photographer or videographer for properties, you know, I have everything that I need set up in order to provide those skills and services. And you know, for real estate investors, I'm here. We can always take photos of whatever you need to do, flipping, having your head like being on camera and having a communication with your clients and just letting people know what you do. I think those are really the minimum qualifications for that. And
At least be doing something.
yeah,
If you're doing something, then we can talk.
yeah, absolutely. And I'm ready to talk about it and we can grow.
I love it. Well, Daniel, any final words that you want to give to the audience?
No, I think that's it.
I love it, man.
Appreciate it.
Well, I appreciate you for coming on. Again, guys, thank you for watching Beyond the Deals. I'm your host, Jordan Corey. See you guys later.